Okay, let's talk about interior walls now. And looking back, this is the same file that I had open for the exterior walls video. And if you remember when we placed these, I used basic wall generic. Okay, now Revit, depending upon the type of wall that you're using, Revit understands different things about it. So if we look at the walls that are already built here, okay, so a generic, you've got exterior walls, okay, a foundation wall, which is, just that, a concrete foundation is named that. Generic walls, and then interior walls. The generic walls are used when you're not really totally sure what your final wall construction is going to be, but you want to put something in that's kind of right, that's close. Okay, so that's why these are set up. It's just they are all they're set as an exterior wall, and if we go to edit type, you can see the parameters for it. This particular one has a coarse fill pattern in it, and it's got structural material applied to it, but it's set as an exterior wall as far as its usage right here. This is where we set it in the program. If I look at just, this is the generic 6-inch wall, same thing. It's set as an exterior wall. You notice this one has no fill pattern, no material. Okay, so if we go to, let's put in an interior wall. I'll just use the interior partition. And if we look at it, you can see it has layers to it. So let's go to edit type. See, this one has its function as an interior wall. And this video is not going to be about how to build walls. We'll cover that in another video later. But if you go into the structure, here you have the different layers and the material and the thicknesses. Does it wrap? Okay, meaning if it just ends, will the material wrap around the end of it? And what part is structural? Okay, now when you're creating new walls, never edit the existing walls that are here. Always duplicate a wall. Okay, and when you do, you really need to name it correctly. Okay, so let's go in and I want you to follow along with me. Let's create a new one. So we'll take this and we're going to make a copy of it. So we'll go edit type, we'll go duplicate, and I'm going to call this one 4.5. And I'm going to say wood stud. And you can, it's called partitions in commercial construction. They call them partitions. Okay. If it's an interior wall. So I'm going to say, okay. All right. So all that did was give me a new name. So I need to change the structure of it. And in this one, I'm going with 1/2-inch drywall on both sides and a 3.5-inch wood stud. I want to change the material here from metal stud, and this is the material browser. Okay, so these are all the materials that are. Where's it at? I think it's actually called softwood. Yeah, softwood lumber. Okay. And we're going to cover Material Browser a lot in other videos. Okay, and so this is my structure of it. And so I'm going to leave all of this other stuff here the same. And I'm going to say, okay, I want to check here the function, okay, is set at interior. Okay, now, okay, wrapping. Normally, these are set to none and do not wrap. If we're going to have walls that end and they need to wrap, we duplicate a wall and then we would keep the same name, we'd call it wrap. Okay. And it's really unusual that you're going to have a wrap at an insert, although it's not unheard of, but it is kind of unusual. Wrapping ends is more common. And in one of the two classes, we do have a wall like that, and so it's covered in that class. So our function is set at interior. Depending upon where you work and the type of jobs that you're doing, you may have fill materials that you want to use on your drawings. Here, we're not doing a fill material on our interior walls, our wood stud walls. It's just too much dark, too much ink on the paper. So we're not going to do that with our interior walls. Then we look down, okay, and so here, I don't make a big deal out of the assembly codes in our classes. As a matter of fact, I don't address it at all, other than right here. When you go to work somewhere, it will become important because you can link specification generating software in with Revit. And this assembly code is what does that. And so if you're in that kind of a situation at work where you need to do that, then these things need to be accurate. Of course, you more than likely will have a BIM manager who takes care of your library, and all the walls are created and everything's set up. So just know, here's where you would make that change. Okay. All right. And if you notice right here, it changed the width of the wall to be what we had in the structure. So we'll say, okay. Now, since I had this one selected while I was editing it, it changed that particular wall. Okay, so now drawing interior walls, just like other walls, pretty easily, you can you can pick lines, you can draw arcs and curves, you can do a rectangle. Okay. When you place a wall, it comes up with temporary dimensions that you can edit right here. Just you notice the temporary dimensions are here. They're going center of walls, basically. I could move it, and change it to whatever it is, and then I can click on the temporary dimension and make a change there. Okay, now this is just getting your walls in place. And with Revit, it's easy just to kind of draw your walls where you want them, roughly, and then come back and apply dimensions. Okay, and dimensioning will be a little bit different in each class, so you need to pay attention to the videos for that particular class. Okay, so now we can, if we know we're going to have, like say, a hallway, we can do an offset of a wall. Okay. Oh, went the wrong way. So I'm going to pick that one. Oh, I didn't change. I'm not changing my distance. It's like into it. Let's change that to 4 feet. That's a little more. And copy. Okay. And it'll say I want to have an intersecting hallway. Do the offset again. And you can also do copy walls. You can do the extend, the trim, and stuff like that. So let's take this little piece out and then do the extend to there. Okay, so we covered a lot of those kind of things in the videos of last week. Now here, when we get a case like this, if we do trim extend to corner, which is kind of like the the fillet command in AutoCAD, see, it deletes that whole thing there. Okay, and I don't want to do that. So the way to do it is to come in here with a split element and then click in the middle there somewhere where we want to make the cut. Then we can do our trim to corner and clean that up. Okay. Let's see, I'm at 11 minutes on the video. That pretty much covers a lot of, what we're doing with interior walls. We look at it here, because if you remember, we had it set. Okay, so here to go up to level 2. I don't even think to look at that. Okay, I think that will pretty much cover us for interior walls. Next video we'll cover like doors or windows, and then we'll look at some of the other things that we can do. Okay.